Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. For this video, we are going to discuss the platform that we're going to use to run Julia programming language, right? So just to give you again a background, this one as to why we need to use Julia. This is the at least our blueprint in doing Islamic digital humanities using Julia, and that is first we are going to analyze the Islamic text using a digital form of that one. So it could be like a text file in a computer, right? And then we're going to process that using a programming language which is Julia. And so for this video, we're going to explore how can we use Julia, what is the platform that we're going to use to run Julia and to write some instructions. And then after that, we're going to explore maybe just loading the Quran text itself, because as I mentioned earlier, we're going to use the Quran as the data that we're going to analyze, right? But before we start, which I've also emphasized in my previous video, is that the data that we're going to analyze here is the Quran, and so it's not just any other text, right? I'm a Muslim. I have great respect towards the Quran, and so if you are a non-Muslim, all I ask from you is just to show some respect, right? Whatever your intention is in analyzing the Quran, I hope you have a good intention, right? And so yeah, I guess that's all I ask. As much as possible, of course. In any other scriptures, of course, especially those that are revered or has a lot of followers, we just have to have like a respect towards the text. We may not believe in it. We may have many other intentions in analyzing any other scriptural text, right? But whatever it is, so long as you do it with in a respectful way, yeah, I think we welcome that if ever, right? So let's now proceed to discussing the platform that we're going to use. So for this one, all you need to have at least at the moment is a Google account. You just have to have a Google account. So if you don't have one, create a Google account. And then once you're done, go to your Google Drive, right? And then you can create a folder for a series of tutorials for Julia in this case. So in that case, if let me just delete this. So in this case, this is where I'm going to put it. So in my Google Drive, I can just create a folder. I would say this will be a Julia codes. Yeah, Julia codes. So I'm going to create that. Once done, you can open that, and then we are going to create a new file. In this case, it's not Google Docs or anything, but we're going to click the Google Colaboratory. So this is a Google, one of the services that is provided by Google, um, and this one particularly is used for doing some uh, data science work or text analytics, for example, in our case, right? So this is the platform that we're going to use to run Julia. And in our succeeding videos, we will, of course, transition from using this into using Julia in our computer itself, not using the cloud, say, platform in this case, using Google, for example. Rather, we're going to install it into our system, into our machine, and then we can use Julia in that case. But for this one, for the sake of like not installing anything yet, simply using your internet and your Google account, um, we can actually run Julia using Google Colaboratory. So let us click on that one. So once you click that, you will be a new file, a new Google Colaboratory will open. Of course, this one is actually zoomed in so that you can see it. Um, but this is the Google Colaboratory. So it is similar to just any other Google file, like for example Google Docs or Google Sheets or Google Slides, but this one is for Google Colaboratory. And this file, you can actually write some Julia codes, and it will run that Julia codes, and we can do some processing here and so on and so forth, right? But this page here, yeah, the body of this in this platform where we write our Julia codes, we refer to this as our notebook. Yeah, that's actually the name for it. It's actually a Google, it's actually a notebook in this case. That's the name for it. And we have some several functionalities here, right? So but first let's just type in our file name. So in this case, first Julia codes, right? So that's the file name. And then here, for us to start running Julia, first we need to connect it into a server, into a runtime. Basically, if I say server, we are actually simply referring here to like a cloud computer. We are actually trying to connect to a computer, and that computer needs to have Julia in it so that we can run our codes from this interface and execute it in that computer, right? And that computer will be, of course, from Google. So let me then connect it to a runtime. But before I connect it to a runtime or to a server, this notebook is default to another programming language, which is not Julia, but it's actually Python. So Python is another programming language used for doing data analysis or data science or machine learning. But for our case, we're not going to use Python, we're going to use Julia. So the way you're going to change that is you go to the runtime here and then click change runtime, runtime type, and then select Julia, okay? So Julia, and then have everything as default, right? So click save. Once you save it, you click connect. So if I actually, just to show you, if I actually click connect here, so as you can see, now it's allocating runtime. It's now connecting to Julia, and then give it a few maybe seconds to a minute. Then you will have your Julia computer. You will have a Julia server running in the backend, right? So when I say Julia server, we are actually saying that we have now a computer, dedicated computer that's running Julia in it, so that once we execute some codes or run some codes in this interface, it will actually connect into that server, and then it will run our codes, right? So that's how it is running in the backend, right? Now, in this platform, you will have several functionalities, right? So you have your file and so on. So the usual menu bar in any Google like services, like for example Google Docs or Google Slides, and then you also have here some in the sidebar, for example, right? But yeah, that's actually the interface itself. Now I'm going to, of course, discuss more about what codes can we write here, right? But maybe you're curious about these cats and crabs and some dogs as well, walking at the top here. Well, this is just a gimmick actually, as part of this what is this platform. So you can actually go here, miscellaneous, and you can actually uh, toggle or remove and so on and so forth, right? You can actually disable this, right? So there you go. Now, so I know you maybe get distracted by this one, but again, we can going back to the notebook itself, you can actually write some codes here. So for example, if I say 1 plus 1, I can actually run this in Julia, and there you go, 2, right? And then if I want to add another line of cell, so in this case, this is what we call a cell, and this one is another cell that which I can use to run another Julia codes, right? So for example, if I want to say print hello world, hello world. So if I run that, click this one, there we go, hello world, right? And so on and so forth. Now in my next video, we're going to deep dive and explore more as to what codes can we write in Julia and how should we think of Julia, so that you have a high level understanding as to what codes can you write in here, right? Okay, so I guess that's it for this video. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum.